Hi there, it's Anna of Rosy Duck Designs here. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back as promised to talk about marbling cardstock. Now, as you probably noticed, we're in a slightly different venue than normal. I'm actually in my kitchen. There's three reasons for that. One, as you can see, I need a bit of space for this project. So I've spread myself out a bit. And the second reason is that this is a good room for me to shut myself away from a certain ginger pussycat. So hopefully neither he or his two friends will get to join us today. And thirdly, I'm right near the kitchen sink. Now, whilst this isn't a mega messy project, it is a bit more messy than stamping, and my middle name is Messy. I call it creativity. Anyone else who knows me calls it messy. So it's just as well I'm near some running water. Why would you want to marble cardstock? Well, simply put, it's a way of you producing some card that is going to be totally unique, something that you've made yourself, and no one piece is ever the same as the other. And what you need for it is some fairly basic equipment. I've got here a plastic container, which is your standard takeaway box. Now you could, if you wanted to look a bit more professional, use the stamp cases, an empty stamp case. You can find them on page 206 of the current catalogue, and you get 4 in a set, and you can either get the slimline version, which is brilliant for something like the new sponge that we've got to clean off the stamps. If you're going to use it for this particular project, I would recommend you go for the thicker one, because you need a bit of space for the foam, etc., which will become more apparent when we've actually done the crafting. There's also another half size, which you'll see in the catalogue, not particularly useful for this project, but quite useful for keeping little odds and ends in. £6.50 for this full size, if I didn't say, and £4.75 for the half size. Personally, I'm quite happy with this, or any other plastic container that you may have that you don't want to put food in again. So, great project for children and perhaps grandchildren who enjoy crafting. I was going to make some sort of suggestion when I thought about this video of this would be a great way to spend an afternoon if during the school holidays it rains. It's looking less and less likely that we're going to experience that. So, okay, put it on the back burner, and perhaps it might be something to entertain them during the autumn break or even Christmas. Who knows when we're ever going to see rain again. I hope you are enjoying the summer and the beautiful weather. Personally, I've had a little bit too much of it now, and I'm quite looking forward to the rain. So we need, for the project, some shaving foam. So make sure you have got shaving foam and not shaving gel. And just another word of advice, don't go into the bathroom cabinet, grab the posh, nice smelling one your other half may have in there. Probably not going to go down too well. This literally cost me £1 from the local supermarket on Saturday evening. So, having shaken it to make sure the foam is solid enough, I'm going to then fill my plastic container. Apologies for the noise. Notice here I've got my work surface covered with a bin bag. It's all very professional in this house. But it's worth, if you're going to use your worktop, worth putting some form of covering down, because you don't want bits of ink on it, especially if you're messy like I am. So I'm just smoothing it out. I'll probably need a little bit more. So whenever I do this, I tend to do a batch of it because it lasts, and as you apply your colour, as I say, each piece will be different. So I tend to get a collection of little scraps of paper and do those, and then I keep them aside and then go to them when I think I might want to add some marbling to a card. It also makes a really good backdrop to a card, so I've used here a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which I've cut at 3.5 by 5.5, because I know that it's going to fit into this pot. If you're looking to do something bigger, perhaps if you're doing scrapbooking or slightly bigger card, then go for something a bit bigger like this, or any plastic pot that you've got. Maximum 3 colours. I would tend to go with 2. That tends to be my favourite. But whenever I start marbling, I always start with 1 colour, so that I finish up with a selection of a single colour card, and then I add my second colour to it. So for example, in here I've started off just with the lemon lime twist, and in this one I've started off with the berry burst, which are the 2 colours that I'm using today. I tend to use Whisper White, but it worked very well on powder pink. So I would say any of the lighter cardstock, it will probably work quite well on. It doesn't work on the darker ones because it just doesn't show up well enough. So I'm using ink refills, £3.50, available in all the Stampin' Up colours. And what I'm doing is I'm just adding a few drops of colour to the foam. So lemon lime twist, berry burst. And I've got a wooden skewer here that I'm going to use just to run that colour through. So how you do it, whatever pattern you create, it's entirely up to you. That's what makes it so unique. And no, as I said, no one piece will ever be the same. This is where it gets slightly messy. So I'm putting my card in to the foam, and to make sure it picks up all the colour, you need to press it into the foam. So it does mean getting your hands slightly dirty. And then lifting it out. I've got an old butter knife here that I'm using. The serrated plastic picnic knives work just as well if you use the back. I'm removing the excess of the foam. With the knife, and then with a piece of kitchen roll, I'm just removing the excess. That was one thing I did mean to say, have a piece of some kitchen roll handy as well. And that's that one. Just leave that to one side to dry. It is fairly dry already, but just to make sure it's dry before you use it. A little bit more foam there. Taking off some of that excess coloured foam. So by adding more foam, you're actually making the palette colour slightly different. So I want to put some more green in this one. Another good tool for adding the marbling is your paper piercer. Now I don't need to remind you it's sharp and pointy, so do please be careful. But it is quite good and it won't hurt the tool, it will just wipe off when you finish with it. So I'm just going through this to make it nice and feathered. A little bit more green, I think, in the bottom there. store's dog, obviously giving his opinion. I knew there had to be an animal involved somewhere along the line in my video. Right, so we'll do a little, this is shimmery white cardstock, so there's a little bit of shimmer on that one. I'm going to put that in there. So that's a really delicate piece of card there. It's nice to have a variety. You can see I've gone with really vibrant pink here, which is going to be great for maybe a backdrop of a card. But I can see how I could use this for something more floral and more dainty. So that's it really. I mean, the possibilities are endless depending on how much ink you put in, what colours you use, what patterns you produce. Just use one more bit of paper left, stick some more pink in, and really mix this one up. That's going to be quite a dark one. It's like that luminous ice cream, isn't it, you see? Sounds like a plan in the heat. Not luminous, but ice cream. Sounds like a good plan. Kitchen roll. Right, that's that one. So I hope you found that to be useful. At the other end, just down here, are some cards that I've made and a bookmark that I made using some marbled card that I'd previously done. And I'll be back with another video later this week, hopefully, to just go through some of the ideas that I've used on these cards, and also to show you how to make a couple of them. So I hope you'll join me for that. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up at the end. And also, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that just means that you will get a notification when I upload a video, and then you get to choose whether or not you would like to have a look at it or not. Just a couple of things before I go, reminders. There are just a few days left now of July, which means that the designer series paper offer is soon coming to an end. So that's the buy three even and get one free. 10 different papers to choose from, and also the offer that's available if you decide to sign up and become a Stampin' Up demonstrator, where for your £99 sign up fee, in addition to your standard £130 worth of product, during July you also get to choose one of the colour collections in the ink pads. So that's actually £63 in additional products. So it's a real bargain if it's something you've been thinking about doing. So I'll put links onto my shop, which you can see the designer series paper at the front of this video, and also a link for joining my team. There's not much in the way of products that I've used here, but those that I have are obviously available to buy on my online shop. So again, that link will be on there. So thanks ever so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Until then, take care. Bye.